Ladies and gentlemen and programmers, we're going to do lesson 4, part 4. We're going to learn how to alternate the images using the variables that we've already created. So we have these two images, right? And now we need to like, hey, let's use that one. Hey, let's use that one over there. And so your crab is going to move back and forth with changing pictures, right? So to do the animation, we need to alternate between the two images. Here is the pseudocode. So this is not the actual Java code. Don't type this code in. But this is the pseudocode, which is half Java, half English, that helps us figure out the logic of it. How are we going to do it? And once we figure out how we're going to do it, then we kind of like replace this pseudocode with Java code. So if our current image is image 1, then use image 2 now. Otherwise, use image 1 now. All right? Now, write this down in your notes, and then when you're done, listen to me. Hit pause and listen to me. Now, so this pseudocode tells us two things that we need to do that we haven't done before. Number one is our current image is image 1. We don't know how to ask that. So we're going to have to find a method that will get our current image. Okay, and then we also have never done an if-else. We've done an if statement, but never an if-else statement. So this is a modified if statement. So here's the code that we're going to use. Don't type this code in yet because I haven't told you where to put it, and let's talk about it a little bit more. The method getImage, so turning this pseudocode into actual Java code. If getImage, so there's solving our first problem. There's a new method getImage that will go to the crab and say, hey, Crabby, give me my own. Actually, you're talking to yourself. Hey, crab, give me my image, and the crab will send his image. All right. And then we already know what the comparison operators. It compares two things. Are they equal? We already looked at the setImage method. Otherwise, set image 2. So basically, here's the method getImage can be used to receive the actor's current image. Boom. The comparison operator can be used to compare one value to another. What does this do? What does that do? Answer that. If you don't know, ask me in class. I'll help you. The if statement has an extended form with an else keyword, right? So we have, instead of just an if, we have an if-else, and we're going to talk about that in a second. All right, get out your handouts. So this is for your handouts, the if-else statement. So so if this condition is true, do this, otherwise else do this. All right, write this in your handouts. The if-else statement executes a segment of code when a given statement is true and a different segment of code when it's false. So if this condition is true, it does this. If this condition is false, it skips this and does this. It never does both. It never does both. One of the statements blocks is always executed, never both. Let's go look at this. So in this example that this code we're gonna type, it's going to say, hey, is the current image image 1? And if that's true, it's going to do this. It's going to set it to image 2. If this is false, it's going to set it to image 1, right? So it's going to do this or do this. It's never going to do both. Okay? All right. Now let's practice playing around with our if-else statement. All right. Now before we do it, I'm not going to help you down here, but I am going to help you up here. So score equals 10. What is the current value of score? 10. Score plus equals 2. What's the current value of score? What do you think? It's going to be 10 plus 2. So score plus 2. So score is already equals 10. So 10 plus 2 is 12. And so the question is 12 greater than 11? And then you have to figure out which one it's going to do. So remember, it's going to do one, not both. If you have trouble answering this question right here, ask me. All right. Now, I want to talk to you about this code here. We haven't typed this code in yet. We're going to, but let's talk about it first, because we've done a lot of work up to this point. So we started off private Greenfoot image 1. So we created an empty box. We declared our variables. We have an empty box called image 1, image 2. They can only be used by the crab, and the only thing that can go into the box is a Greenfoot image object. And then we initialize those variables. Image 1 equals new Greenfoot image. So this guy's holding crab.png and this guy's holding crab2.png. So we have these Greenfoot image robots that are invisible to us, but when we ask them to, they will do stuff with this picture. Okay, and so then when we have this code, so what this code does is if getImage, so the crab gets his own image and he throws it in here. So his image is here. And does that image equal image 1? So this guy hands his image, and so we compare those two. Does this guy's image look like this? Okay. And then again, we have right here set image image2. So when we say set image image2, this guy hands his image to the crab, and the crab changes image to look like that. So just wanted to point out that we went through the process of declaring these variables, initializing these variables, and finally we're using the variables to change the image of the crab. All right, just wanted to point that out. Set image image1, we're actually using the variable. Set image image1, we're actually using the variable. All right, now let's add the image switching code as shown over here to a new method named switch image. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to hit pause on my video for a second and do it. You try to do it. Add this code in to a new method called switch image. See how it goes. Okay, so we're going to try to do this switch image code. Now, before you watch me do it, try to do it. You're going to learn more if you try to do it yourself. But basically, we're going to come to the crab, public class crab, and I'm going to find an open spot. I could do it here. I could do it anywhere. I'm going to come to the bottom, and I just have to make sure, like, okay, here's my look for worm method. Starts here, ends there. I hit enter, and then I'm going to start my method definition. Public void switch image. Okay, and then I hit enter. I do my opening bracket, enter, and then my closing curly bracket. All right, so now no errors because I've got a good start. I've got the skeleton of my switch image method. Okay, and then here I'm going to type in this code that from the PowerPoint, and then I'm going to go edit. Hold on, I'm going to go edit. Doesn't like it. Edit. Control Shift. Oh, okay, I'm just going to press Control Shift and I. Okay, so if get image equals image1, so, okay, now let's see what happens. So I'm going to go back to my project. So no syntax errors. If I compile it, it's all good. All right, so let's go back to the project, and I hit run, and no animation. What's going on? See if you can, that's a question. See if you can figure out why there's no animation, okay? All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press Control C. I'm going to go up to the act method because I taught it how to switch image. I never asked it to. In this case, I'm going to ask it to with the method call in the act method. Compile, no syntax errors. Let's go back, and now I'm going to hit run. All right, now it definitely animates. Now it looks like the crab has had too much coffee. He's a little jittery. He's moving pretty fast. So that's the next thing that we're going to do. Let's jump to that. All right. Okay, so why did the crab not animate? Because we didn't have a method call in the act method. We added that, and we're good. All right, here's what you should have so far. You can read that on your own. All right, our crab image changes too fast, and the crab looks hyperactive. Let's make the crab image change every second or third act cycle. So we're going to add a counter that gets incremented in the act method. Every time it reaches 2 or 3, the image changes and the counter is reset. So basically, right now, if here's the act method, boom, 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 he's going like this, boom, 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 boom. What we want to have happen is like this, boom, 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 boom. So every second or third time. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something like this. Here's this. Let me see if I can show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a counter that counts 1, 2, 3, switch, and then it goes back to 0. 1, 1, 2, 3, switch, and then it goes back to 0. 1, 2, 3, switch. It goes back to 0, right? So a counter is a variable that is incremented and counts to something. So the first thing we're going to do to slow down our crab's movement is we're going to create the counter, and then we're going to have to do the counting piece, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to have to do an if statement. Hey, if the counter is 3, then we're going to run our code that switches it. Okay? All right, let's make the crab image change every second or third of the act cycle. Add a variable to the instance variable declaration area called step counter that holds integers. Okay, so you're on your own. Your job is to add a variable. It should be to the instance variable declaration area, should be called step counter, and it should hold integers. Okay, now let me remind you how we've done it before. So the first word is always public or private. Okay, the next one is a variable type. So is it going to be hold Greenfoot images? Is it going to hold integers, int? Is it going to hold booleans? Okay, what's it going to hold? And then here's the name of the thing. Actually, I'm going to fix this. There should be a semicolon here. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to put a semi, because you always end it with a semicolon. Okay, all right, so basically, I'm not going to do it for you, but I'm going to show you. Okay, so if we go to our crab, so I'll give this one. Here's our instance variable declaration area. You're going to hit enter here, and you're going to type in, well, what is it, public or private? Private. What does it hold? Integers, not Greenfoot. So it's going to be private int, and then it's going to be called, I can't remember the name of it. Let's jump back and see. It's private int something semicolon. It's private int step counter semicolon. Okay, give it a shot. All right, let's make the crab image change. Okay, so you should do that. I'm not going to show you that code. You do it on your own. Let's make the crab image change every second or third act cycle. Add a variable, instance variable decorator, step counter. Then in the crab's constructor, initialize the step counter to 0. Okay, so remember how to do that. You say, to initialize, you say the variable name equals, and then what you want it to equal to. And then the same way, we need to put a semicolon here. Okay, so that's going to go, so if we look at the code, that's going to go in the constructor. So right here, we're going to say step counter equals 0 semicolon or something like that right in here. Okay. All right, let's keep looking here. Okay, this slideshow. Okay, so now we've declared it and initialized it. And why don't you show me this to see if you got it right, since I'm not actually typing the answer out. Okay, now what is this called? What does it do? Where does it go? What is this called? What does it do? Where does it go? Okay, answer those questions. So right now we're going to have okay, now next step. In your notes, write pseudocode that will use your new step counter variable to slow down the animation so that the crab image will change every second or third. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to do something like step counter equals step counter plus 1, step counter equals step counter plus 1, step counter equals step counter plus 1, right? So we're going to write some code that does that. And then you're going to have an if step counter, if the step counter is equal, so basically pseudocode would be something like add 1 to the step counter. If the step counter equals 3, then switch the image. Otherwise, if step counter equals 3, switch the image. And then you're going to set the step counter back to 0. Something like that. All right, get your pseudocode written down before you go on. If you need help writing that pseudocode, let me know, because I'm definitely going to quiz you on that. All right, here's the actual Java code. Your pseudocode. So step counter plus plus. That's the same thing as saying step counter equals step counter plus 1. This is how you add 1. That's how you add 1 to the step counter. If the step counter is equal to 3, then you're going to add your switching code here. So basically you're going to type this around. Where's my project? So that you're going to type that code around. Let's see, where's the crab? That code's going to go around this. So this is the image switching code, right? So you're going to put that other stuff around here. So you're going to have to try to figure out how to make that work. Okay, so what is the if part called? What is that called? What does the if part do? Where does it go? And where does it go? Okay, answer those questions. See if you can get this code to work on your own. Make the crab image change using that code we just looked at out of counter. We already did that. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, so I just want to show you what it's going to look like. So if I go 1, 2, 3, click 1, 2, 3, switch 1, 2, 3. So that's what it's going to do. And so when you run it, it slows down the steps. Okay, so that's what you're looking to do. See what you can get done on your own there. Show me a project that when you click on the act button. So this is going to be for the verbal quiz. You don't have to show me in class. All right, that's it. So you're going to kind of have to figure some of that stuff out on your own. Do the best you can, and ask for do the best you can, but with lots of help from me in class.